to be here. Really happy to be here, and they're going to play their hearts out here at Flames Field. They're, the White Sox in their first year at this tournament are really looking to put their stamp on it and have a big impact on the tournament. Just, play their hearts out, do their best they can, and win some games.
We apologize for the audio technical difficulties at the top. We're going to be working through that as we go from Flames Field. The other game, if you're going to maybe hop over with us going on at Curtis Granderson, Les Miller Field, just to the adjacent side of us is the baseball opener. It's a whole lot of White Sox Cubs today. All three games on opening Thursday will be between these two programs. The White Sox team here today in front of you, their first year as a softball program, can kind of create some challenges for them, but we talked to the coaching staff before the game. The boys team, the ACE program, has been dominant, back-to-back National World Series, so there's a lot of pedigree within the White Sox campus.
Yeah, the coach was talking to us about it, and he was talking about how, they want to emulate what the guys have done and the success they've had, but they also want to blaze their own path. It's not just do like the boys have done. They want to blaze their own path. This softball team is ready to compete and have a great day today.
And for Chicago, it's really about the front of that lineup. Those 1, 2, 3 batters, lots of pop. They can all leave the yard, but they really do get on base.
Yeah, the top three of Mia Colasso, Olivia Jacinto, Lilia Tanabe, those three are really going to be the ones who are going to help this team and pull the team up by their bootstraps and make the difference.
It's going to be a pretty tough task for Selena Elias. We won't see her first. The Cubs will bat in the bottom half of this opening inning. It's going to be the White Sox in their debut who are going to get the bats first. Kendall Rainey, Angelina Silvas, and Selena Elias lead them off 1, 2, and 3. It's center fielder, catcher, pitcher who are the trio due up for White Sox and their staff. It's going to be pretty hard to get through Athena Corrales. We saw her at times last year. She's a very, very good pitcher to throw out in game one.
And also, if you look at the flags a little bit, wind's blowing in, the ball's not going to be traveling all the way out to the walls very easily. So, watch out for that and watch the tracking of the balls early in the game.
An opportunity, two teams from the Windy City as the wind blows in from center field here at Flames Field. It's 210 all around. Left pole, dead center, and the right pole. It's going to be a heck of a chance for either team to stamp their name on this opening game. Everybody's watching. They're the first games because of the proximity to these facilities. Everybody else either still driving in, but there's a couple teams already here. The first pitch is away. It's a slap shot down the third base line, scooped up and not in time. Legging it out for the opening hit of the game is Kendall Rainey. The third baseman who charged on in was Mia Colasso, couldn't make it in time.
Rainey showing her speed there, just laying down the slap hit, but also getting down the line very quickly.
And now it brings up Angelina Silvas, the catcher. One on already for this Sox program. They show another bunt. This time it's down towards second base, and the Cubs don't read it correctly. And a free base after that for Rainey, and the runners go to the corners with nobody away. A heck of a debut for Sox RBI.
Yeah, Sox RBI playing the small ball game, No full swings we have seen yet. And Rainey and Silvas just making sure that they get on base, but also don't make it easy for either team. They're making sure that the Cubs organization, the Cubs team, they have to communicate to get these balls into the base.
Let's see if they can settle down. And there's an easy first pitch strike, but running on over to second is Silva. So both runners in scoring position for the pitcher, Selena Elias, here in the top of the first. So already a lot of action. And that ball smacked. It's going to get over the head of the second baseman and drop down for a base hit. One run comes around to score. That's Rainey, and it's already 1-0 in the top of the first. The first three batters have all put themselves on a bag.
White Sox making their presence felt with 3 straight singles and some great base running by them as well. And they're already up 1-0.
Not the start you want to see if you're Athena Corrales and the Cubs. 3 straight singles. And Kendall Rainey has come around to score. Zaria Hatcher in the cleanup spot.
Hatcher has the opportunity to really clear the bases, get a couple more runs on the board before the inning's over. And she looks primed to do so.
Could blow it wide open. She pops that one into foul territory. Going at it is the first baseman and making the play for the first out of the inning. The runner is caught in a pickle now, and it's a chance to tag her on the pass. She avoids the tag rather, and is safely in at third. That was almost disastrous for Angelina Silvas, the catcher, but a good play made by the first baseman, Annabelle Diaz, and the first out of the inning finally comes on the board.
Elias also advancing on that play and all the confusion, you know. The coach coming out now just to have a word with his gals, just talk to them, make sure that the communication is right, make sure that, you know, they've seen the White Sox game plan very quickly, which is lay down bunts, get on base, and make the catcher and the pitcher really focus and work to kind of pick them off.
It's a proper utilization of the speed that the White Sox team clearly possess.
Yeah, and the coach, you know, just calming them down. First game of the tournament, you know, you can't win the tournament on day one, but you can sure, you know, it can sure be a tough road uphill if you lose game one.
I believe the saying is, you can't win the tournament on day one, but you can lose it.
Yeah.
Got to be careful. Swing and a miss, and actually she got a piece of it and pushed it back. This is Jaslyn Morton, who's the left fielder today. Morton leaves on a hanger, pops it high into center field. It's a can of corn for the center fielder. The runner, Silvas, is going home. It's not a throw that's anywhere near it, and the second run scores. The tag is there, and she's out for a double play. It was not a force, so it should be 2-0, a lead for Sox ace.
Yep, White Sox laying down the hammer in the first inning. We'll see what happens more coming up.
And that is a 2-0 lead for the Sox as we go to the middle of the first inning here on the Windy City Sports Network. This is Mia Colazo leading off for the Cubs. It's Colazo, Jacinto, and Lilia Tanabe, the big three in this Cubs lineup. After they gave up 2 runs in the top of the first, we're into the bottom half of the opening frame.
A little bit less of a hectic start to the bottom of the first rather than the top. The top was 3 quick bunts and 3 quick base runners for the Sox. However, Cubs right now working a little bit more in their pitch count.
Pitcher for the Sox is Selena Elias, who was just thrown out at third to end the inning. That one's whacked into the outfield. Going back, they are not going to meet it. And a leadoff home run for Mia Collazo halves the deficit. The Cubs make some noise early in the bottom half of the first. And that's what they talked about. All three of those first three can go yard.
Yeah, Collazo, Jacinto, and Tanabe, you know, they have the responsibility for their team a little bit because they are the big bats. They are the expected runs, hits, and RBIs a lot of the time on the scorecard. So Collazo doing what she does best and doing what people expected her to do.
Yeah, we got a 2-1 game.
Yeah, competitive, you know. It's what you love to see.
And it's what you'd expect out of a Cubs-Sox matchup. Get that ball back out of there. Got to keep the softballs. They're pretty expensive, way more expensive than baseballs.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, so that's why they can't really replace them as much. You can give a baseball to a fan. You can't really do that with a softball. It costs so much more to manufacture. This is Olivia Jacinto, the catcher, at the plate now. It's weird, isn't it? You'd think they'd kind of be the same. I guess the more surface area.
Yeah, must be.
Can't quite figure it out. That one's grounded down the third base line.
You learn something new every day.
Every day's a school day, Henry. I'm just glad I can help you out. Jacinto watches it, wisely so. Just joining us, bottom half of the first inning on the 2022 MLB Nike RBI 18U Softball Central Regional. It's the opening game. It's White Sox and Cubs. And Jacinto smashes one in between the gap, and then it gets through the left fielder. And Jacinto's going to turn for two, stand up there. She's being waved around and now held at second. It was Jaslyn Morton who couldn't control it, and it's a home run and a double to open it off for the Cubs. This is maybe where the White Sox RBI are at a disadvantage with their inexperience. Not always the most well-rounded team when you're just starting off.
Yeah, Cubs coach was also waving Jacinto around a third, but she kind of took her better judgment and held up there.
Wisely so. We're all over the place here. 2-1. This is the third batter, Lilia Tanabe, the center fielder. Eva Manrique on deck with nobody out. And that one slapped in between that same exact gap, and moving on over to third and standing safely is Jacinto. Runners at the corners, and just like the Sox did in the top of the first three have reached for the Cubs in the bottom.
And the Cubs are taking a little bit more, being a little bit more careful on the base paths. The Sox were just a little everywhere, and they got a lot of free bases, but they also paid for it a couple times, getting thrown out in that double play. And so, you know, the Cubs might be doing a little bit more to help their overall score.
As Tanabe goes and stands in at second pretty safely. Eva Manrique, the lefty, playing in left field, has two in scoring position.
Scoring position is just what these teams are going to be living in right now. Cubs also taking their time at the plate, looking for that pitch they want, especially Collazo. Obviously, she hit that one over the wall.
Rough start for Elias, and that one's hit hard, but well foul out towards the cornhole section. Might even hit the beach volleyball place, where looks like the Reds 18U boys team is having a little bit of fun.
It's cornhole for you, it's not bags.
Here's the pitch. Gets through. And great job at the backstop by the catcher, Angelina Silvas, to hold the runner at third, Jacinto.
Smart move by Elias, though, coming straight to the plate, ready for the catch. If there was going to be a throw, she was going to be ready to apply the tag.
down the first base line, kept in front by the first baseman. She steps on the bag, but the throw not in time, and we've got a tie game. So an RBI is going to be registered to Manrique, and Kylie Brown will come up in a 2-2 ball game.
Brown, the right fielder, looks to be helping out some more. You know, you don't want to rely only on the top three of your lineup, and you know, if your stars shine out and the bottom of your lineup, you're going to be having a really good game.
Heads up from Zaria Hatcher to keep it in front of her, and it was Olivia Jacinto who scored to even us up at 2 apiece. 2-2 in the bottom of the first. Couldn't ask for anything better in this opening offering. That was a really good pitch right up Broadway from Elias.
You said it best. It had a little bit of movement on it, and it was perfect for this level.
Same exact pitch, and Brown doesn't learn anything from the first one.
Let's see if she tries it a third time. Maybe Brown may have picked up on something there.
1 out and an 0-2 count. Too low from Elias. Smacked into the sky, out towards right field, trying to get underneath it and deal with the sun, and well done from Raven Perkins, but one's going to come in to score and give the Cubs the lead. A sacrifice fly from Kylie Brown, and Lilia Tanabe is in. Yaneli Contreras is going to come up. It's pretty much an opportunity now for the Cubs to try and find some insurance with the lead under their belt.
Be interesting to see what the coach is saying to Contreras right now. Swing away, or play a little small ball, keep the inning going.
She swings on the first one she sees, so there's your answer, and it's pushed foul straight back.
Like you said, the Cubs have an opportunity to put some insurance on after what they possibly thought was a little bit of a rocky first inning defensively. Now they're up 3-2, and the morale in the dugout's probably turned around very much so.
Pitches inside, just misses the shoulder of Contreras. Talked to her pregame. It's her second year in the program. She was the catcher last year for a team that felt like they had a chance to win it all. They lost on a walk-off to the Cleveland Guardians RBI team. Contreras puts that one down, and they've clearly found a hole down the left side of the infield. That's another single. And the shortstop and the third baseman have not been able to cover much for the Sox team.
Herrera and Jackson over there on the left side of the infield. They're going to be having a lot of work tonight. Obviously, right-handed hitters are going to pull that way, but if they keep knowing that there's a hole right there, they're going to keep trying to attack that hole.
There's another righty, Annabelle Diaz, the first baseman. There's a big secondary lead from Contreras at first, but she's held by the catcher behind home plate. A 3-2 ball game at Flames Field with 2 away in the first inning, and that one's hit lofted high into the air, and the first baseman, Annabelle Diaz, will fly out to end this first inning. The Cubs get 3 in response to the 2 they gave up in the first. They lead after 1 on the Windy City Sports Network. here. Top of the first, a 3-2 lead for the Cubs. Top of the second, rather. Alani Herrera leads it off for the Sox. It's Herrera, Mia Holcomb, and Kalia Jackson due up as we hit the bottom half of the lineup for a Sox ace team that got a healthy amount of runs in the first inning. We wonder where the drop-off is with this team, if there is one.
Just waiting for the pitchers to find their zone, find the part of the zone that they're looking for, and kind of get those swing and misses or those ground outs that they're wanting, because Herrera, as we mentioned in the bottom of the first, she was part of that left side of the infield that was just getting hit to a lot, and there's a couple balls that just squeak through there every time.
Upstairs. 3-1 count. Athena Corrales pitched last year for this Cubs squad. And it's an opening walk to get another runner on the path for Sox ace. This is a heck of a debut offensively so far for them.
Definitely a different mentality coming to the plate for this first batter of the inning than it was the last batter. Obviously, last couple in the top of the first, bunt. But this one, you know, taking your time, walking.
Swing and a miss, though. There's the aggression from Mia Holcomb. A lot more patient as well. Not so eager to get swinging and going as the Cubs were in their inning as well. It's always interesting to see the contrasting styles you get from the top of the order to the bottom. That one smacked right up the middle, right back at you. It gets underneath the glove of the center fielder, Tanabe. Coming around third and being waved on home. Here comes Herrera. She's in safely to tie the game, and it's a double and an RBI to go with it for Mia Holcomb.
Holcomb knocking it through the infield and through the outfield a little bit. Stand-up double RBI. That's what you want. That's a great way to answer after the Cubs answered in the bottom of the first, top of the second. Sox right back at it.
Now, how about the speed from Herrera to go from first to home in a very, very quick fashion?
Heads up running there and just pure speed.
We got a 3-3 game, and it's Kalia Jackson, third baseman. Push it to the outfield. She has a chance to restore the lead for her team. She swings at the first two she sees, and Jackson way down in the count.
Yeah, Jackson just needs to kind of see what's going on, see the pitches coming to her, maybe wait on this pitch. You never know.
She waits on that one, pushes it into the sky. It's in shallow right field underneath it, and making the play is Kylie Brown, or rather not Kylie Brown. Yeah, Kylie Brown. We're all over the place here. Still trying to figure out the new setting here. We were at Cacciatore Stadium last year for the softball side of things. We're here at Flames Field for today, I think tomorrow, and I believe also the Sunday championship game as well. Cacciatore Stadium is DePaul's stadium, if you were wondering out there. New batter out there as it gets underneath is the 9-hitter Raven Perkins with 1 out. In the top of the second inning, Jackson's fly out to right.
Perkins has a chance to get on base and then bring up that top of the lineup that was really good.
It's hit up the middle, and there was a runner in the way of the shortstop. They won't call interference or anything like that, and they'll go runners on the corners. Raven Perkins, the benefactor of what I would say is an error, but we'll see how they score it. They've scored it as a hit, so we will too. That's going to be a single for the 9-hitter Raven Perkins, and we're back to the top of the order with Kendall Rainey, who singled and scored in the previous inning.
And that's second base for Perkins. Heads up base running and just caught the catcher, Jacinto, just kind of a little lazy throw back to the pitcher.
Rainey flies one high and foul down the third base line.
Rainey, one of the first left-handed hitters we've seen for the Sox excuse me, she's left-handed hitter.
What are you talking about?
Sorry.
Sorry, forget what Henry said. Here's the 1-1.
Yep.
She is one of the few left-handed hitters
Yes.
we've seen. She let us off, so she was the very first hitter we saw in this game, I think is where Henry stumbled himself.
It's been a long day.
On the right, underneath outs, it says 3-3. On the side, it's just counting how many runs it's going to be.
That one right towards Randy, and it plunks her. Juiced bases now for Angelina Silvas. And this White Sox team has proven one thing through an inning and a third in their debut in this Central Regional. They can score.
Very much so, and you know, with one out and the bases loaded, you have to know that even any ball hit almost anywhere is going to be a run in for this White Sox team. Maybe not an infield pop out, but almost anywhere else on the field, it's going to be a run in.
They got speed that makes them a player in this competition. Everybody's chasing Reds RBI. They've been the dominant force in this sector for a long, long time. And again, if you're White Sox ace, we talked about it at the beginning, the boys program have quite the pedigree. Back-to-back national titles for them. So you've got a lot of opportunity. It's right towards the third baseman. They go home with it, and that's heads-up stuff from the Cubs third baseman, Mia Colazzo. There's some sort of discussion going on right now. Are they saying she missed the bag?
The umpire at home is Chris Schaefer. He's been doing it for 35 years. He's an experienced vet. This is his second year doing it, and he's just always happy to be here, and he was talking about how grateful he is to be working with the RBI tournament.
We'll get an update on that. As of right now, still 3-3. And she was safe. And the first pitch back is Selena Elias taking one to right field. It's just short of the wall. It drops at the track. One comes around, another comes around. And with the bases loaded, Selena Elias drives in two. They make a mistake. She takes three. She's going for three, and she's there. Noisy, noisy, noisy. The White Sox are here, and they are here to stay on the softball side.
Wow, that was some heads-up base running and some pure speed on the base paths. I'm pretty sure it was Rainey almost caught up with Perkins on the base path rounding third. That's how fast Rainey is as the Cubs have a conversation on the mound.
As we work out the score here. So Holcomb scored. Kalia Jackson flew out to shallow right. Raven Perkins scored. Kendall Rainey scored. It was Silvas who I believe just came in as well. So this is a 5-run second for Sox ace, and that makes it a 7-run game in total. They lead 7-3. Selena Elias is on third with a double and an advancement on the throw to third base with only one out, and Zaria Hatcher, the first baseman, taking strike number one.
It's been a busy game so far, and I know I see you over there writing in your scorebook. It's very tough for you to keep up.
A lot of math. I don't like it. Never claimed to like it. 0-1 count, smacked into the sky. It's going to be playable for the second baseman, dealing with the sun, and making the play is Hannah in for the second out of the top of the second. Hatcher's 0 for 2 today. Here's Jaslyn Morton. Ninth hitter in the inning for Sox ace. That one's down, and a good play behind home plate from the catcher, Olivia Jacinto. Busy second inning. Kendall Rainey scored. Angelina Silva scored. And that one's hit towards the shortstop. It's playable again. Long throw across is in time. Should have been. And it was not. She beat it out.
Also, a little bit of the foot coming off the bag, I believe, from the first baseman for the Cubs, Annabelle Diaz.
A stretch run from Morton scores Selena Elias and makes it 8-3. And it's Alani Herrera who opened up the inning. Straight on back. Rainey scored twice. Silvas has scored twice. Elias has a run in this inning. Herrera scored earlier on. Holcomb scored, and Raven Perkins has crossed home plate as well. That one's down and through, and Morton safely into second.
It's very difficult for the catchers, especially when they're working so hard.
What was the call there?
I believe it was a strikeout.
Must have been. I don't know how else you could have ended the inning. It didn't matter. 6 runs in the second for the White Sox. They lead 8-3. There's the Chicago skyline once again. We're through 1.5 innings. It's an 8-3 game. We've seen a lot of hits, a lot of great base running, a lot of runs come across the board here on the Windy City Sports Network. Ryan Sakura, Henry Domini. For the bottom half of the second inning, the Cubs come back up to the plate. They need to generate some offense. It's 8-9-1. M. Corrales and then back to Collazo in the second for Chicago.
Yeah, Collazo had the home run, only one of the game so far, but the bottom of the order is going to need to step up a little bit for the Cubs to really compete with the White Sox. As there's another conversation between Cubs coach
Cubs
and
managerial staff, and I believe that's our home plate umpire once again. That's Chris Schaefer. A little low for Henna. I don't think the Cubs would have imagined they would be in a 5-run deficit in the bottom half of the second.
especially after scoring 3 runs in the first.
Yeah, they gave up 2 in the top. They responded with 3 of their own. Looked like they had figured themselves out, but on the defensive side of things and inside the circle, Athena Corrales, who's on deck right now, hasn't quite figured it out. Stairs tried to drop one in and just missed outside.
And you talked to the Cubs managerial staff before the game, and they said throwing strikes was a big part of their game plan, just getting the ball in the zone, hopefully getting a couple swings and misses.
Yeah, the Cubs did not do that. I mean, actually, to be fair, Corrales did. That's why they're swinging so well at it. But wouldn't say the Sox have been so successful so far. Here's a full count. And a swing and a miss. That was pretty good. And down goes Hannah M for the first strikeout of the game on the Sox side of things.
Corrales just working the zone, working the count, and excuse me, Elias. Apologies. Selena Elias just working the count well.
Just outside, but it caught a corner. It looked like it might have just missed on my eyes, but this is big for Athena Corrales. Pitcher-pitcher matchup, trying to help herself out. That one way more out there.
Corrales hitting right now, even though she's a pitcher, she can really gain some confidence when she goes back into the circle with a good at-bat here. She can really turn the tide of the game a little bit, just get her in the zone when she gets back into the circle.
That one upstairs over the head of the pitcher Corrales. And here we go. Can't get 2 outs in the inning, or you just in the inning after you just gave up 6. That one popped into the sky. It's going to be very easy cooking for the catcher behind home plate, Silvas, and it's 2 up, 2 down. Elias has calmed down so far.
The third baseman, number 14, Mia Colasso.
Luckily for the Cubs, Mia Colasso is going to come up. That long bomb she hit last time to open up that high-scoring inning in the first for Chicago. She saw one pitch, she swung at it, she saw a second pitch there and let it go right down the middle for strike number 1.
A little bit of vertical action on that pitch from Elias.
You got it right this time.
Yeah.
Proud of you. After Colasso, if she can get on, it's Olivia Jacinto who's doubled and scored. That one all lower body, all upper body strength, and it's pushed into the outfield almost to the track, and going back and making the play to end the inning is the center fielder, Rainey. It's 3 up, 3 down. White Sox up 8-3 in their debut in this competition. Who would have thunk it? On the Windy City Sports Network.
We'd like to thank everyone for supporting Cubs.
Top of the third, 8-3 lead for the White Sox. Elani Herrera up in the third inning. She swings in the first one she sees, well struck down the third base line and foul.
There's definitely still some confusion on what ended the top of the second, but White Sox are back out here, and so is Elani Herrera.
Now let's see, Herrera walked and scored in the second inning. She led off that inning, so she leads off this one. It's Herrera, Holcomb, and Jackson. Who's outside from the pitcher, Corrales.
Seems like Herrera, compared to all the other hitters, is very content to watch those balls go by because she just knows where they're going.
That one down in the dirt. Hard when your pitcher can't get a hang of it. It's just the honest truth of it.
Credit to the Cubs managerial staff for just trying to for letting her stay in there and just kind of work the problems out and see if she can't get something going.
Walker. So Herrera's got 2 walks today.
But she's going for second.
Yeah, this is a wild sequence after it got past Herrera. That's all the speed the White Sox have been able to hustle up. They're a quick ball club.
Smart job by the first base coach to tell her that quickly and make sure she got on her horse and got all the way second.
So it's going to be a walk, and she advances to second on a wild pitch. And it's swing on from Holcomb, and it's through off the glove of the third baseman. That'll be charted as an error for Collazo. Coming around, there's going to be a play at the plate. She ran into the ball, and she's safe. So they'll call Herrera safe at home. She ran into the softball, and there's a complaint somewhere from the third base coach for White Sox. But as of right now, Mia Holcomb's at second with an error by Collazo, the third baseman, and an advancement into scoring position on the throw as Kalia Jackson steps in. She flew out to right her first time up. And it's 9-3.
That was a crazy sequence of events. I feel like this whole game has been that. Just a lot of speed, a lot of power, and the ball flying everywhere.
Nine runs on 6 hits for this Sox squad. Right up the middle from Jackson, in between the gap, and here comes Holcomb trying to score. It's through everybody, and Holcomb in safely. Jackson's trying to go for 2, slides in safely. It's 10-3 Sox.
That's been the bread and butter for the White Sox, you know, get a single, then advance to second on an error or a poor throw or a scoring play where they're just worried about home plate. So White Sox using that speed, using their heads to get one base, just get on base, just like Brad Pitt says.
Is that a Moneyball reference?
Yeah.
I like it.
You to join us on September 30th for the annual Race to Wrigley, a 5K throughout the streets of Wrigley Field.
As we try and figure out our score bug here on the broadcast, having some technical difficulties with that today.
Also hearing about a 5K around Wrigley Field.
Henry, everybody knows you love to run.
Haven't done it a lot recently.
As they're checking on something going on in the infield. It's Collazo that was, I would imagine, looked like down tying her shoe.
White Sox, their right fielder, number 36, Raven.
Here's Raven Perkins. Singled and scored in the second inning. Has Jackson on second after a single and an advancement on the throw to home plate. That one is just a little outside, or got in again. There's a big strike zone here.
Looks like the top of the third's going a little bit like the bottom, the top of the second. Excuse me. You know, a lot of base runners and hits for the White Sox.
And base runners and hits lead to what, Henry?
Runs.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
10-3 game. 2 runs in the first, 6 in the second, and already 2 with nobody gone in the third. And almost back to the top of the order. That one's inside and down low. Good job behind the stop to hold Jackson at second base.
Like I said earlier, one of the most difficult positions right now at this level is catcher because there's so many wild pitches and so many base runners that it's just hard to get the throw to second.
Got to stay focused. You got to be always switched on behind home plate there. That's a swing and a miss. A big cut. She's out of there. And first K of the day for Corrales. As Sox go back to the top of the order with Rainey with 1 out and a runner in scoring position.
You know, a lot of people say that the catcher is the leader of the infield, and it's not easy doing it at this level. That's for sure.
And she gets clocked in the head. They'll check on her, just make sure, but it's a free base for Kendall Rainey. took it like a champ.
Next, the catcher.
Still 2 on, no outs. The Cubs have to find something here, or maybe get somebody up ready, or just see if who else is going to pitch. I mean, it's a long tournament, but maybe they know already at this point it's kind of maybe a lost cause.
Yeah, nobody working out in the pen for him. That one's up and away. Rainey's been hit by the pitch her last 2 plate appearances in each of the last 2 innings. That's a good one, though. It was only the 3rd ball. Silvas was up and ready to go. Subtle wind blows in from center field.
Not really affecting the flags out in the center field, though.
You can still feel it. That one's high and out towards backs us, and everybody got out of the way at the bleachers, and it falls down for another strike. 2-2 count. There is 1 out. Raven Perkins' strikeout.
Silvas took off to first, even though that ball was well past the backstop. Just shows what they assume they're going to be doing each time up to bat.
Swing and a miss. He struck out, and that's 2 Ks in the last 3 batters. He's getting a hang of these righties, Corrales is. But it's Selena Elias who comes up.
The lefty.
Remaining the pitcher, Selena Elias.
Almost took one out of the park last time. Got all the way to the track. It dropped down perfectly, drove in a ton of runners. She got a triple out of it.
Was it a bases clear triple?
It was. She was the only person on the base.
I thought it was bases loaded. Excuse me.
That was funny.
You were right.
I should have said
There was a
3.
runner on first, a runner on second, and a runner on third.
I should have said a 3 RBI triple. How about that?
And all of them scored.
3rd time's the charm.
She got 3 RBIs. Good call. 10-2, 1-1. That one's a little low, and it's a 2-1 count. A 7-run lead for this White Sox program. A much more raw team, brand new. And Elias gets one through the gap. That's going to be a base hit. And Jackson turned the corner, but stands on third. Good coverage by the right fielder for the Cubs, Kylie Brown. And now the bases are loaded for Zaria Hatcher, who's 0 for 2 today.
Remaining the first
If you're the
baseman,
Cubs, this is exactly the person you want to see come up to the plate right now. Somebody who's 0 for 2, somebody who does not have the biggest chance in the world to drive in these 3 possible runs.
Hatcher looks the part, though. Big, lanky, tall, strong, has the ability to fly him out of the park. And they are going to make a little swap here.
correction.
Already a pinch hitter.
Number 38, Melina Watson.
This is Malia Watson. Class of 24, Rich Township High School. So they already make a little swap, maybe sensing a moment to take advantage and blow this one wide open. And Watson won't even be given the chance on the first one.
Or, you just get some experience, get everybody a little warm in the tournament, and a little experience because, the tournament's a long time, and they can contribute in the next couple of games if they've had a couple pitches to look at.
Watson swings at it, pushes one into the outfield. It gets down just barely for a base hit. Jackson comes in and scores. Here comes Rainey. She's in safe and tossed out at second. They'll count both runs. It's 2 going to score, but the inning is over. Another hefty frame for the Sox. They lead 12-3. Cubs trying to get back at it in the bottom half of the inning on the Windy City Sports Network. back here for the bottom of the third. It's Chicago skyline on this Thursday afternoon. Sun starting to set into nighttime. And the White Sox team, this brand new program, up by 9 runs through 2.5 innings. 2 in the first, 6 in the second. They put up 4 in the third. They have been so good at the plate, and they've done their job defensively. A scoreless frame the last time the Cubs were up.
Yeah, you showed the north side of the city there with that scenic, and here we are looking a little bit at the southern part of the skyscrapers, but you know the south side's winning it all this game right now. They're up a big 9 runs, so it's a big game so far.
Look how locked in Texas Henry is. I talked to him about the game, and he says, no, I'm locked in. I've never been to the big city before.
I have. This is my 4th time coming to the Chicago, so, you know, it's such a fun time.
It's Olivia Jacinto who drops one into the infield. She's going to have a nice little open leadoff base hit. She stands in at first.
The center fielder.
Lilia Tanabe, the center fielder, then Ava Manrique were the 3 due up besides Jacinto. Kylie Brown is waiting in the hole. Cubs need a big inning.
And looking at your scorebook right here, Ryan, you know, we mentioned the top 3 before right before the game started and how they're going to be the ones to be carrying the load, and looking at them on the scorebook, they truly are. Each one of them coming around to score. All 3 of the Cubs run.
Yep, Mia Colazo, part of that group as well. She flew out to center field to end the last inning. That's a great pitch in there. And we've seen a lot of really good command from Selena Elias. A rough first inning. She settled nicely in the second. She started this one off strong as well. Tanabe grounds one into the gap, and that's going to be a base hit. Standing on second goes Jacinto, and back-to-back singles. And the Cubs finally finding a rhythm opening up in this third after a lackluster second.
And Jasmine Morton, the left fielder there, quickly fielded that ball and immediately got it to second, just in case there was a chance at that force out. You know, the base running has been a big part of this game, and the Cubs have had a little bit of a problem with it.
That one gets out of the glove of the catcher, and both runners will slide on over. Tanabe to second, Jacinto into third.
Angelina Silvas, that ball just got away from her, and Jacinto and Silvas both in the 2 spots for both teams, but they have the most difficult job out there, 100%.
Just catches the zone. Good response from Elias. Manrique last time up. Grounded out to the first baseman, the lefty on the pull side.
Elias changing the heights and a little bit of the location of her pitches, and that's definitely helped her in these last few innings.
Got away from her there, though, and on comes Jacinto in there, and she's out. Elias didn't get the pitch right, but she got the coverage spot on. Saves a run, and the Sox are doing it on the defensive end.
You couldn't be more right. Elias, you know, she doesn't let that bad pitch get in her way. She gets immediately to home plate, applies that tag, and you know, a pitcher needs to be able to play their position as well.
It's Tanabe moving to third. That's the first out of this bottom half of the third inning. I believe that was Carrie Blackwell on your screen just a moment ago. She's been organizing this whole thing for us. Asking us for water as there's a walk, and Manrique moves over, puts runners on the corners.
Bringing up Kylie Brown, the right fielder, who has been having a little bit of a day out there. You know, some balls hit her way, and it's been a very active field for both teams, as you see meeting on the mound.
She's had a very successful time on the defensive end. She had a sacrifice fly in the first that scored Lilia Tanabe. She's in a similar scenario here now.
It's just a perfect summer day today. you smell the hot dogs, clear blue sky, nice temperature, a little bit of sporting activity, a little bit of softball. What more can you ask?
The runner's going to go. There's going to be a play at second. It's in and out of the glove, and here comes Tanabe to score the 4th run of the game for the Cubs. It's 12-4. That's the old kind of catcher's mistake that you learn as you get older. When a runner's going to second and you've got a runner at third, you can't throw that ball, right? Because that's an easy run, as the Cubs just proved.
Yeah, throwing across the diamond is a pretty difficult thing right now at this level, and still, if you're having a difficult time with it, you want to do it the least amount of times as possible.
Did she go? Yes, she did. Brown couldn't keep it there, and Manrique's at second. Brown does go fully that time. That's another strikeout. It's going to be the second out of this inning. One's inside.
You know, the White Sox kind of worked themselves into a little bit of a pickle, but they got out of it with some good pitching, some good fielding, especially by Elias. Excuse me.
So Elias, there's one in there. We've got a final score from the boys game that opened us up, 18U, I believe, and it was a 2-2 tie after 9. That one's whacked. Is it going to get through the gap? It is, underneath the glove of the second baseman. Here we go, coming around to score, and safely goes Manrique, and it's 12-4, now 12-5, and that's going to be a runner on second. Good stuff from Yaneli Contreras.
Little announcer's curse there, said they'd been doing a good job, no runs scored, and then, you know, just like you mentioned it.
It's a 12-5 game. Tanabe got in, and Manrique got in as well. One out here in the bottom of the third. Contreras at second. This is Anibal Diaz. Right down the middle, and looked like strike number 1.
Diaz trying to help out the bottom of the order, making sure the top of the order has somebody to drive in.
Lots of movement in front of you right now on your screens, making it hard to see home plate for the viewers at home. That's the Royals RBI team. One's outside. It's a 2-1 count with 1 away. Long time left. You'll stay with us on the Windy City Sports Network. Right now we're on channel number 2. We're going to have the boys 15U game coming up in, I don't know, about an hour or so. That one's hit hard into the gap, and another base hit. The Cubs will go to the corners, getting some offense going here in the third.
The offense is sparking back to life. It's a really competitive game, and the Cubs might have thought for a second, man, maybe we're out of it, but no. I bet Cubs managerial staff just said, hey, let's pick ourselves up, let's get going. We can bring it to the Sox. It's a rivalry game. You're never going to give up.
You're never out of it here.
You're batting the shortstop, number 18, Yaneli Contreras. Correction, number 19, Jada Matos.
This is Jada Matos.
Went in for hit him, I believe.
That is correct. Him, the 8-hitter in the lineup. Jada Matos out of Chicago Academy. Steps in for Southside. It's a little upstairs from Elias. These 2 runs here in the third, big for Chicago. The Cubs have found a way. As the Northsiders have seen Tanabe and Manrique cross the plate.
Cubs also making a lineup change just to maybe bring another spark to their lineup and provide a couple runs batted in. Hopefully.
I said go out. If anybody hit 100 points, that's it. Anybody hit 100 points.
That one's inside. She ducked out of the way, Matos did. And we go full with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 3rd. Swing and a miss. They retire her. And Elias gets out of the frame. She only gives up 2 runs. It's still 12-5. The Cubs looked a little better, but the White Sox still controlling this Windy City rivalry. Visiting half of the 4th inning, 12-3. The north side team, the Cubs, and they trail by 9. Norel Cotner, who's a pinch hitter, making some noise coming straight into the game, turning for 2 and standing in safely. Open your account and get going.
Just like I was talking about, pinch hitters and bringing that spark, Cotner doing that immediately. First pitch swinging, taking it to pretty deep part of left field, not the deepest, but pretty deep.
It's pretty fabulous hitting. And she pinch hit for Jaslyn Morton. So this is Elani Herrera. Double for Cotner. Herrera today has 2 walks and 2 scores. The Sox squad have 10 hits today, yielding 12 runs. That one slowly chopped towards the shortstop. It's gloved and tossed, and in time. That's good stuff from the Cubs RBI shortstop Yaneli Contreras. I actually don't believe that's Contreras.
I believe it's
next, the second baseman, Mia Holcomb.
we had another pinch hitter.
It's Mariela Arroyo, who is not hitting for this Cubs team. She's being DP'd by Yaneli Contreras. This is Mia Holcomb at the plate for the White Sox. She's reached twice today, a double and a score, and reached on an error by Collazo, the 3rd baseman. She scored on that one as well. Swings way upstairs at that one, though.
Tempted with the upstairs and swung away. Difficult for that one. But you talked about the hits and the runs for the White Sox. It's called good conversion right there. And especially in tournaments, you got to have that. You can't have games where you're getting 8 hits and 1 run. It's just difficult like that.
0-2, they got her in 3 pitches. That one goes straight past Holcomb for another K. Recipe for success today for the Sox. She didn't swing at it, or did she get a piece of it instead? I think that's what happened. Recipes for success today for the White Sox. That last 6-3, that last out that was the ground ball to the shortstop, the first time the White Sox have put a ball on the ground and not been safe at first. As it skied high into the air, it's going to be in foul territory for the catcher. She dropped it. And they won't make it a playable moment, so it's just going to go down as a foul ball. No error, no nothing. Tough one to find when it gets that high up into the sky.
Still the sunny part of the field, but also she's catching in almost the shadows, so, you know, a little bit of that transition might affect it a bit.
Yeah, you can see it on your screens. The shadows clearly looming in, and that one's going straight back and foul again into fan territory. They couldn't make a play at it. We'll do the same count yet again. Shadows looming in from the left side of the infield. It's the home dugout where the Cubs reside.
It's a really cool experience for these girls, because you look out on the walls and you see some NCAA players that have had very successful careers, especially here at UIC. But, you know, it's just they're playing in a collegiate stadium, and that's a big thing for girls this age.
6 All-Americans have come through the doors here at Flames Field. That was something that the White Sox staff talked about pregame, of like it's an honor to be able to play in a college park. And that one's whacked into the outfield. It's going to be a base hit. Coming around to score is Kottner. And an RBI double. 13-5. The White Sox have looked pretty good so far today.
These stand-up doubles have been the White Sox bread and butter, along with these singles, just getting on base and then quickly getting around with pitching errors or catching errors. Heads up base running.
That one gets past as Kalia Jackson let it go. And runner goes to third. So Holcomb's got a double. Jackson's trying to get her way on base. She is 1 for 2 today. This is a White Sox team that's dominating, not unlike a Reds team has before in these kinds of games. We mentioned earlier Cincinnati, sort of the standard on the softball side in this region.
And even though I'm new to this RBI tournament, I knew that Cincinnati had the power, had the momentum coming into this tournament from last year.
That was hit hard on the ground by Jackson for another base hit. We're going to have a 14-5 game, a single from Kalia Jackson. They just can't stop hitting.
Got to keep swinging, too. I mean, you're up so many runs in this game. You're up 9 runs in this game. Is the coach going to tell you, no, just take it easy? No, experiment. See if you can't get something. See if you can't get yourself on base, make your stat line a little bit better.
This is Raven Perkins. One out. That's it. In this inning, we're into the 4th. Already 2 runs have crossed for the Sox. Gets down, it's going to be a chance for Jackson to take 2, and she will. It's these wild pitches as well from Corrales. Just have not been able to get focused and get on the same rhythm today, the Cubs.
If you're Corrales, you have to just get it near the plate. You don't have to have it perfectly over and the perfect height, but, you know, you have to have it where Jacinto can just get down in front of it as quick as she can.
Swing and a miss from Perkins. She goes down for her second strikeout of the evening.
Right over there is on the other side.
And it's back to Kendall Rainey in the top of the order.
He'll be the center fielder, Kendall Brady.
And after 3 innings, there's only been 3 strikeouts recorded by the Cubs, so, or 4 and a third, excuse me, but 3 and a third.
3 2/3.
3 and 2/3. We're struggling here.
Henry's had a long day. Big Texas has met the big city, and he's been in awe. We're gonna keep playing with that theme. I'm not gonna let it die.
Hey, you're the best person to play with that theme. I know for a fact. Wouldn't have anybody else on a play-by-play call. Call me Big Tex, maybe BP. But, yeah.
They don't know.
Yeah.
Keep the inside jokes to the inside. That one's hit well by Rainey towards the shortstop. It's an opportunity. Did she leg it out? They say she didn't. That's a good call, probably from my eyes. And inning finally ends. Only 2 runs this time for the Sox. It's enough to make it 14-5. We're going to have the bottom half of the 4th up next on the Windy City Sports Network. Back for the bottom of the 4th here. Cubs RBI looking for some offense. Down 9 runs. They got 2 their last time up, and it's 9-1-2. Corrales, Colazo, and Jacinto just trying to find their way through this opportunity. And they're going to face a new pitcher.
New batting, number 23, Athena Corrales.
Maricela Mesarina is the new arm for Sox ace as they look to close this game out.
New arm for the White Sox. Be interesting to see how the Cubs react to the new pitches, see the placement, what Messalina has to offer.
Yeah, they got through twice, pretty much at least. Corrales is her second AB. The pitcher has struggled today. Team from the north side have not been able to really get going on either side. Swing and a miss. It's a great, great pitch from the new arm, Messalina.
Rouse was just a little behind Messalina, and Messalina probably threw a little bit of extra heat on that one. Fresh arm and everything.
Whacked into the sky, going back and into foul territory. Almost an hour and a half into this ball game. Got to look at it. That's a great pitch to find the corner.
Messalina coming into the game with some heat, with some action, getting the strikeout, looking on her first at bat. Excuse me, with her first batter, and that's just a success we have not seen in the circle all game by either team.
Chance way upstairs from Messalina that time, and Collazo, they haven't really given her much, but she's had two really golden opportunities. She had a loud fly ball opposite field, caught by the center fielder in left center. She obviously pulled that one way gone into right. She swings and misses on that one, though. She's behind in the count. She's put together two impressive displays of upper body strength in the leadoff spot. Swings and misses, and now it's 1-2.
Messalina has some dominance in the circle that we have not seen so far this game, and she is showing it off to all these Cubs RBI players.
1-2, one away. Pitch to Collazo. Smacks at it, pushes it high into the sky. That should be playable, and underneath it to get the put out is the center fielder, Rainey. And that's 2 up, 2 down. Quick work, Collazo with back-to-back fly balls to deep center.
And in the Cubs lineup, Collazo is the batter with the most power. So, you know, you expect her to get to the outfield if it's a good contact. And that one just a little too much under, and just close to the track, close to the track.
Olivia Jacinto, 2 for 2 today. That one's down low.
Jacinto's seeing if she can't add some runs to the scoreboard for the Cubs. The second was inning with no runs as she swings and misses, making it a 2-1 count.
Those 2 outs. The infield playing normally. That one's away, and Jacinto stood still.
Jacinto, if she can get a line down on the ground, maybe straight shot, she will easily get on base. Big gap between second and both sides of second, excuse me.
I agree. It's a full count. After Jacinto found it straight back. Lilia Tanabe's on deck, hoping to get a chance to bat in this inning. Could be the last if the Sox put up enough runs. Cubs will always get a chance to answer back, though, so it really won't. And they'll walk her. So Tanabe will get a chance to come up. Jacinto walks and reaches for the 3rd time today. Tanabe has scored twice as well, the only Cubs player to do that.
Jacinto 2 for 3 with a run scored and a walk, so she is definitely making her case for helping out the team today.
It's popped out towards us. It's not quite going to get there.
Due to the netting, I don't think we're going to get any foul balls in the press box.
You're probably right. I think we're much more likely to snag one at Curtis Granderson just across the road. 0-1, Tanabe puts one into that wide gap we were talking about, and there's a single for Lilia. And all of a sudden, 2 runners on with 2 away, a little rally brewing for Cubs RBI.
Messalina started off the inning very well. The Cubs have answered now with a walk and a quick single, so Messalina, we'll see if she can't just calm down, get a couple more strikes on the board, and get out of this inning very quickly. Quickly, she's up 0-2.
No one's upstairs, though, after the good response to get ahead. It's 1-2. Keep track of the scoreboard today with all three of the city programs taking each other on. We had that tie in the 18U opener. That one's outside. A good job behind the plate to keep it in front by Silvas. So we're technically at White Sox no wins, Cubs no wins, and a tie. So this one could be important in the grand scheme of things to give, you know, the overall tally ahead. That's 3 straight balls, and it's a 3-2 count.
Is there an overall tally trophy that they
No.
give out? But, you know, city pride
There's
and
not.
everything.
Yeah, city pride matters.
Yeah.
Full count pitch. And down in the dirt it goes. They walk her, and the bases are loaded. Jacinto at third, Tanabe at second, and Manrique at first for Kylie Brown, who's 0 for 2 today.
Messalina, really, these first couple at-bats, she had very good stuff. Her pitches were working in these last 2 out of 3. She's walked a batter, so you know, just maybe just not catching a little bit of the zone that she's looking for.
Brown, the right fielder. Pull power to the left side. That was a great pitch from Messalina.
Go.
That one dropped back in, no, just missed. Wind is now blowing a little bit outward towards left field.
I thought Schaefer was about to make that movement, and I was a little confused, but no. Just getting up out of his stance.
1-1, pushed out towards right field. It's going to be easy pickings for the right fielder. And a good play by Perkins. White Sox make some noise. The Cubs got some guys on there, but nothing going. They have a scoreless 4th inning. It's 14-5. The White Sox riding away with this one. Top of the 5th, 14-5, White Sox. A debut in the Windy City for them in this competition. Hasn't looked like it. That was put right back up the middle off the glove of Corrales, and they're going to throw it away. A chance to go for 2 for Silvas, the catcher. She'll get in there, and that's disappointing for the Cubs to start off like that. You get almost what seemed like an easy out, and Silvas turns it into 2.
It hit 2 Cubs infielders' gloves, the pitcher and the shortstop, and yes, like you said, it's a little disappointing. Pitcher had a very good play at it. You know, it's understandable if you don't get that one, but shortstop should have got it over to first just a little better.
Thank you for being with us here today as we are in the top of the 5th between the Cubs and the Sox on the 18U softball side of things. If you do want to head over and go back to Windy City Sports Network's main channel, it's just about time for the 15U boys game between these same 2 squads to get going. That one gets through, goes off the stop, and that goes in a weird enough spot to where she's got a chance to go for 2, and she does. She gets home. Silvas turned the corner. That ball bounced so awkwardly off the netting and the stop that it went towards the Cubs dugout, And Silvas flashes the speed and makes it 15-5.
On 2 wild pitches, Angelina Silvas has got at least 3 bases. You can argue about that 4th, but man, she has been very lucky and very fast to just force these errors.
An unfortunate hop for the Cubs. Sox have now scored in every inning. They've done it with ease here. No outs on the board for a pinch hitter. This is Maricela Mesarina, who is the pitcher, so she replaced Elias. She hits that one down the third base line, scooped up by Collazo, and gets the first out of the frame.
For the Cubs, it's a long tournament. Yes, it stinks to lose your first game. However, that play right there, practice that, get those basics down, and once you get those basics down, you can start competing and just really work on improving.
That is really the story the rest of the way, assuming the Cubs can't mount an outrageous comeback in this one. Swung on hard, and into the gap it goes from that one. She stumbles on first. That was a little bit weird. That's Malia Watson, who's in there safely batting for Zaria Hatcher.
She seems to be okay, having a fun little moment with her coach, so all smiles still here.
That's a single, second of the game for Watson. Jaslyn Morton comes in now. 14 hits today for the Sox. It's just an ever impressive looking scoreboard, and that one's popped into the sky. If we're ever going to get one, that was our chance, and just fell too short in front of the booth. You could see it fall right on down across your screens.
You got to have your eyes on the game, you know. You can't be looking at the skyline too much. You got to be making sure no foul balls come over and bop you in the head.
It is a pretty outrageous backdrop. One could argue it's even better over at Les Miller Field.
Possibly. One could argue over at Les Miller Field, it's one of the best backdrops in all of D1 baseball.
I won't argue. Morton swings and misses. It gets past the catcher. There's a long throw, and sliding in safely goes Watson into scoring position. Takes any double play chance out of it. Not that that was really realistic in this level of the game. Small field, still growing, still learning. It's almost impossible to turn 2.
It's difficult at the college level. I know we've both seen it at Arizona.
I've seen like 2 college level. I've seen 2 college double plays in my entire softball career. It's hard.
I cannot put my nose, or I cannot tell you how many I've seen. That one was hit, well, foul, but with some power.
Almost got it.
Is it towards the cornhole, the bags, as Henry calls it?
No, I was just asking if you referred to them as bags. Which
Nope.
you preferred.
Cornhole. That one hit again down the line. Was that fair? No, it was foul. It just got on the wrong side of the third base.
Back to our conversation, though, the double play is very difficult, and so, like you said, realistically, for these ladies, it will be very difficult for them to put a double play.
Henry, you think if I put you on second and I put the rest of our crew here today, myself, Kevin Malater, Austin Kroom, if I put Austin at first, I put you at short or second and Kevin at shortstop, you think you could turn 2 and get me out at first?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. You're a speed guy. You're a
think so
speed
either.
guy.
Number 2.
That was Jaslyn Morton who struck out swinging. 4th K of the day for Corrales, and Alani Herrera is going to come up. Knocks the first one a mile into the air. Coming in to get it is the first baseman. Exceptional stuff from Annabelle Diaz. The inning's over. 1 run crosses for the White Sox. It's 15-5. The Cubs need to put together some runs, or their night might just end early on the Windy City Sports Network. Taking a look at Sears Tower after some technical difficulties. Highest occupiable spot in the United States.
I'm gonna.
You gonna rock me for this one?
Yeah, that's Hancock. That's the Hancock.
Is it
building.
also highest occupied spot in the United States?
No, it's not.
Is it like third?
It's one of the top 10 or top 15 tallest buildings in the United States.
Okay, forgive me. I just got to Chicago yesterday. We're learning. They do look similar.
They do. The Sears Tower is a bit more blocky, though.
I'm looking at it right now. If I had a telestrator, I'd circle it on your screens, but you know it. You love it.
Hancock Building also featured in a Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
That I did know. That's why I've been so confused about it. That one's hit hard into left field. It's going to get over the head of the left fielder and a leadoff base hit that's going to turn into extra bases. A nice little double. And Yaneli Contreras puts herself on the base path for the third time today. That's a good start for the Cubs, who need some runs to stay alive.
Contreras has really been commanding the bottom part of this order, and the Cubs manager talked about how the top three were all the talent and the expectations were, but Contreras really helping out with that.
This is Annabelle Diaz, who ended the top half of this inning with a good play at the first base side defensively. 15-5, bottom of the fifth.
And Holcomb over there, she's playing in the gap between second and first. As the second baseman, she is running over to second a lot of the time to cover the bag.
And Silvas loses the ball, but so quick out of the saddle to get up and get going, and holds Contreras at second. It's hard to do, to get up from the crouching position and hold a runner on these shorter base paths. Diaz watches it, great take, and sits on it. Need a lot of runs. Put 9 hits on the board. Usually serviceable enough. That one got away from the pitcher, Messalina, and this time Contreras does take third. Nobody out, and a runner already just 60 feet from the bag.
Messalina just needs to calm down in this inning. 2 very big wild pitches that have resulted in an extra base, but Messalina just had such a good start to her outing. Finish it up well.
And she walks Diaz, puts runners on the corners. And don't look now, but Mia Collazo is in the hole, so there's going to be an opportunity perhaps for her to get back up to the plate. They're going to have a mound meeting with Maricela Messalina, the pitcher, and the rest of the infield.
I was just thinking about maybe a mound meeting would be a good thing to calm nerves, just explain what kind of situation they're in, where to go to, and really kind of let Messalina get in her zone and really work the strike zone as well.
Is part of that discussion as well, like, hey, we've got a 10-run lead. Let's just be calm. We got a little bit of room to work with. You don't have to get everybody out right here and now.
But also, you know, there's a runner on the corners too. Very difficult to play that way. No one double play ball in effect. You know, no force out at home. So you may have to make sure that everybody knows that. Everybody make sure they tag, and the Sox have a chance to get an early win.
And they were ready for that. That was clearly part of the discussion, is don't let Diaz take 2. So right up and away after the pitch, even though Diaz didn't go, Silvas was ready to throw to second.
You talked about when there's a runner on third.
You can't do that.
Yeah, you can't do that. Maybe the coach said throw it there once. Take her out of the mindset of taking second.
And they almost thought about it again. That's too low, so both runners in the head of Messalina.
Messalina right now just has to focus on the batter inside the box, get a strike down there, or get something on the ground playable for the fielders.
That one's away, and Diaz is going to go this time, so she gets away with it. Low ball. Silvas was preoccupied by Contreras at third, and Diaz gets her way into scoring position for Hannah M., who's ahead 3-0 in this count. Or rather, Jada Matos, who's batting for Hannah M. M took the first at-bat of the game. Matos struck out in the third, her last time up when she pinch hit. Cubs have emptied the tank, and Mato swings and misses, and now it's 3-2. This is a good battle for Maricela Messalina.
We haven't seen a ton of them at the plate. Very few full counts in this game. However, Messalina has a chance to take this full count and make it a strikeout, prevent anyone else from getting on base.
Swings on it, it's down the third base line, toes it, it's a long throw across, a heck of a stretch by the first baseman. Coming in to score is Contreras. Diaz advances to third, but that's some athleticism at first base by Kalia Jackson, or Zaria Hatcher.
I'm going to call that an amazing stretch by Hatcher. I mean, at this level, stretching out like that.
I believe it was Malia Watson, that's my fault.
No worries, but, you know, just an amazing play right there at first. Really laying out for the out.
Here's the pitcher, Athena Corrales. One run is crossed. It's a 15-6 game. Contreras has a score. Manrique has one. Tanabe has two. And Colazo and Jacinto have one apiece. 9-run game. I think they need one more for us to play another inning here, Henry. I think.
I believe you're correct. I'm going to trust you on this one. I've trusted you many times before, so I'm going to keep going with Socorro.
You know, thanks for believing in me. Knocked into the sky. That's going to get down, and there's the extra run they need. Here comes Diaz, and she walks in. A throw and a second is not there. Dropped by the shortstop, or the second baseman, rather, and that makes it 15-7.
Holcomb had a very difficult throw there. It hit the ground right as it came to second. She kind of had to cover it so it wouldn't squirt out and go and provide extra bases for the base runner. So, in my opinion, good job there by Holcomb, keeping it in front of her, preventing any extra bases there.
Mia Colazo got a home run and two very loud outs. That one's not quite going to be as loud. It's in foul territory. It's potentially playable by the catcher, and it's well done from Silvas.
Silva's showing why she is the leader of this infield. Going over there close to third base, calling off the third baseman and saying, I got this, and put the team on my back.
That was probably a little too aggressive at the plate from Colazo, swinging at the first one. That didn't look like it was the perfect height for her.
Especially since Messalina has been a little bit iffy this inning. You know, balls have been outside the zone, wild pitches. You never know what could happen if you keep out there at the bat.
Rifled down the third base line. That was hit hard by the catcher, Jacinto.
And I wonder if the Cubs manager said, hey, guys, you know, there's nothing to lose. Why not first pitch swing, see if Messalina throws a softball down the middle.
It's worked so far. (15-7) game. We don't have a lot of time left. It's a 2-hour maximum that you can play. So we've only got 18 minutes left of softball to be played. The Cubs are not only trailing, but they're running out of time as well.
Looking out there, the scoreboard, 15 runs for 14 hits with the Sox, 7 runs for 10 hits for the Cubs. And both teams converting well, except, you know, the Sox just on base a few more times.
That's a good smack from Jacinto, but it's not going to be enough. It's 15-7. The White Sox lead by 8. They've got the clock on their side. We're going to go to the top of the 6th from Flames Field in the beautiful Windy City of Chicago. score from this one after it ends. They took a second to determine if it was more than 8 or exactly 8. They came to the conclusion, and by the rule book, that it is 8 runs after 5 innings. That is the mercy rule, run rule in this competition. So the Chicago White Sox, their debut in this competition, 15-7. They looked the part, every bit of a contender in this competition. They got it right today with a big win over their crosstown rival.
Yeah, crosstown rivalry, taking advantage of that win. That one, I bet, tastes good. But, you know, I saw some of the Reds players over there looking over at the game. If you're one of those Reds players looking over at this game, you saw the White Sox there just killing it. So you might be shaking in your boots.
And we'll talk a little bit more about this in the post-game debrief that'll come out on social media a little bit later on. The White Sox had some speed. And you know, in softball, especially at this level, the high school level, speed can absolutely kill anybody. You get something in play, you can make something happen.
Yeah, speed, especially at high school level, and you know, in both baseball and softball, has been kind of king recently. Young athletic players, and especially high schoolers, have the chance to really make a big impact just by getting on base, using the speed to either A, pressure a fielder to make a bad throw to first on their way down there, or B, you know, just get from first to second, second to third, and you know, when you know it, you're there, you're right there, and you have a chance to score.
Cubs had a plan coming into today. They wanted to get their offense going early. They wanted those first 3 in the order to really have a good day. They thought they were going to have that with Mia Colazo, that leadoff home run, but she ends up 1 for 4. The other 2, Jacinto and Tanabe, had good days, but do they need to go back to the drawing board, or they just kind of hope that it eventually works out with this tournament being very, very short?
I think going back to the drawing board wouldn't be a bad thing. You know, you put your top 3 batters as your first 3 batters, and maybe you say sprinkle in maybe your 5th or your 6th batter at the 3 spot or something, just so you can have somebody hitting cleanup possibly to get runs in, and just not have cold and hot in your lineup, if you get my drift.
Looking for a little more contact, perhaps, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll see. It's a big, big statement on opening day from the White Sox club. They win 15-7, your final score from Flames Field, the University of Illinois, Chicago. For Henry Dominey, Big Texas, I've been Ryan Sikora. We'll see you tomorrow. And if you're wanting to hang out with us a little bit longer, head over to the baseball game on the main channel. It should be a good one between the Cubs and the White Sox yet again on the Windy City Sports Network. Final score, White Sox 15. They move to 1-0. The Cubs fall to 0-1. And they only score the 7 runs today.